How is blood produced in our body? Let's find out its answer. Our blood is very important for our survival. Blood is a fluid that flows in our body through blood vessels. It provides our body with oxygen and various nutrients, and also removes waste materials from our body. Our blood is made up of 4 main components. The first component consists of red blood cells. Our blood is made up of 40 to 45% red blood cells. Red blood cells carry oxygen from our lungs to the body. The second main component of our blood is white blood cells. Our blood has about 1% white blood cells. White blood cells help our body fight infection and other diseases. The third main component of our blood is platelets. Platelets are cells that make up 1% of our blood. They play an important role in blood clotting. Whenever a blood vessel in our body is injured, bleeding starts from it. In this case, platelets stop bleeding by making clouts. The fourth main component of our blood is plasma. Our blood contains 55 to 60% plasma. It is the liquid portion of our blood which carries nutrients, hormones, and proteins in our body. Now we know what our blood is made of. But do you know how this blood is produced in our body? Blood is produced in our bones. Some bones in our body like thigh bone and hip bone have a soft tissue present which we call bone marrow. Blood is produced in this bone marrow. Bone marrow makes up 4% of our body weight. As we know, our body is made up of cells. In the same way, our bone marrow is made up of some cells called stem cells. Stem cells are quite unique. In fact, stem cells are cells that can divide themselves into different cells such as skin cells, heart muscle cells, neurons, and nerve cells. There are also 2 types of bone marrow. Red bone marrow, also called myeloid tissue, and yellow bone marrow, which we call fatty tissues. Our red bone marrow contains hematopoietic stem cells. Hematopoietic stem cells produce blood cells. These blood cells include red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. This process is called hematopoiesis. Our bone marrow produces about 200 billion blood cells every day. If we talk about yellow bone marrow, then mesenchymal stem cells are present in it. These cells help us repair and produce our skeletal tissues such as cartilage, bones, and fat. In addition, yellow bone marrow also stores fat, from which energy is obtained when required. Remember that only red bone marrow is present in the body of a newborn baby. But over time, red bone marrow replaces yellow bone marrow. Our bone marrow has tiny blood vessels. These blood vessels carry blood produced in bone marrow to our body. So much for today. We hope you enjoyed this video. In the next video we will talk about how bone marrow is transplanted in patients facing different diseases.